Nvidia's stock price has been out of reach for most investors given that it was trading near $1,000 per share for several months now. Now that the stock split has been announced, it could be more affordable for many investors to buy Nvidia stock. For others that can afford to buy Nvidia stock at current prices, there's an interesting question that's rising. Should you buy Nvidia stock before the split at $1,000 per share or after the split when it does a 10-for-1 share split? I'll answer that question in this video, so let's get into it.
I want to thank the Motley Fool for sponsoring this video. Visit fool.com/Parkev for the 10 best stocks to buy now.
All right, so like I mentioned, Nvidia's stock price has absolutely exploded. It's trading at $1,064 per share as of this recording. That's up from around $600 per share in early 2024 and around $150 per share in early 2023. So those investors that have held Nvidia stock since then, congratulations, you've made some incredible gains. I'll mention that I recommended Nvidia stock as one of my top stocks to buy in 2024. I made that recommendation on December 30th. So I've anticipated Nvidia's excellent prospects going forward, and I've reiterated my recommendation to buy Nvidia stock all year long. I've reminded investors that the stock price increase has been justified. It hasn't just been based on hype or momentum. The stock price is increasing because revenue and profits and cash flow are increasing. In fact, I'll share with you an interesting chart here, which I'll refer back to a little later as well. Nvidia is approaching one of the most profitable companies in the world. The most profitable that I follow is Visa, which you see an operating profit margin at 67%. Nvidia is now in second place here with a trailing 12-month operating profit margin of 59.84%. Then comes MasterCard at 58% and Altria Group at 55.89%. These are the most profitable companies that I'm aware of in the world. And so Nvidia is right up there with the most profitable companies in the world. Now, more specifically about the stock split. Nvidia announced a 10-for-1 stock split of their common stock to make ownership more accessible to employees and investors. So each record holder of common stock as of the close of market on Thursday, June 6th, will receive 9 additional shares of common stock to be distributed after the close of market on Friday, June 7th. So if you want to buy the stock before the split, you will need to buy it before the market closes on Thursday, June 6th. And then you'll get your additional shares after the close of market on Friday, June 7th. Then on Monday, June 10th, the stock will trade on a split adjusted basis. So the share price will go from around $1,000 per share as where it's trading now. And then on Monday, it'll go to around $100 per share, or a fraction of where it was on Friday. So that's the process of how Nvidia will split its stock. So if you're interested in buying before the split, then you will need to buy before the close on Thursday. And if you want to buy after the split, you will need to buy on Monday after the market opens on Monday. So that's just the plumbing behind how this will work out. Now, to answer the question, should you buy it before or after? Now, this is aimed specifically at those investors who can afford to buy both before and after, because remember, the share price is $1,064. And if you're not in a brokerage that offers fractional share buying and you don't have $1,000 to invest, unfortunately, you don't have access to buy the stock at these valuations. So you're almost forced to buy after the split unless you want to open a new account at a brokerage that offers fractional shares. But for those of you that can afford to buy it, should you buy before or after? Or should you even buy Nvidia stock? Is the stock even a buy? And the answer to is the stock even a buy is unequivocally yes from me. I like the valuation of Nvidia stock. It's trading at a forward price to earnings of just 30, which I think is very cheap for a company with the prospects that Nvidia has, with the competitive advantages that Nvidia has, and given the rising revenue and profit and cash flow the company has demonstrated. So I think it's a buy regardless. Now, should you buy before or after? In my opinion, doesn't matter. In my opinion, you could buy before, you can buy after. I don't think it's going to make a difference. The price is going to split on a split adjusted basis. So that's already accounted for in the price. That's already going to be accounted for in the price. Now, I know a lot of investors are saying, but with the lower price, it's going to bring in a lot of newer investors and that's going to cause the stock price to increase. Maybe it does, or maybe it doesn't. That's speculation. Okay? That's all speculation. And remember, the valuation, the forward price to earnings, is what you're getting in return for what you're paying for Nvidia stock. You're getting a certain amount of earnings for the price you're paying for Nvidia stock. So if a bunch of new investors comes in and buys up Nvidia stock and this valuation increases, then there's going to be a certain group of investors that will sell Nvidia stock. So you're going to have, let's say, 1 million new investors that buy Nvidia stock because it's now affordable. And that's going to, if that increases the valuation, then you're going to have another group of investors that sells Nvidia stock because the valuation gets too expensive for them. It gets to a point where they say, okay, now's a good time to take profits. Now that all the retail investors have jumped in and lifted up the price, I think it's too rich now and I'll sell, and that'll cause the stock price to fall. So what will happen for certain is there will be a more broader base of ownership in Nvidia stock. More people will own Nvidia stock because the price per share will be lower, making it more affordable to more people. But that doesn't offset the valuation impact. So for instance, if 10 people buy Nvidia stock for $100, and then one of the people that owned it before at 1,000 sells 10 shares, then have you really increased anything, right? You've just taken one shareholder and split it into 10 shareholders, a more broad-based ownership. So the stock split doesn't really change anything in terms of should you buy before or should you buy after. If you're counting on the fact that all these retail investors are going to jump in and cause an increase of the share price, that would just be speculation. It could go either way. It could go up and it could go down. It could be either. So that isn't the reason to buy or sell Nvidia stock. The reason to buy or sell Nvidia stock is because the company's revenue, its profits, its cash flow are soaring. It's trading at a reasonable valuation when you measure the profits you're getting in return for the price that you're paying. It's got strong competitive advantages, and the competitive advantages and the market it operates in is growing rapidly and is expected to grow rapidly for several years. Those are the reasons to own Nvidia stock or buy Nvidia stock, not because of the split. The split should be a non-event for investors that can afford to buy it even before. And for investors that couldn't afford to buy it before, this just makes Nvidia stock an option to buy, because previously it wasn't even an option. You couldn't even buy it if you wanted to because you didn't have the money. Now that you can buy it, yes, it's a buy, right? I think the company is an excellent bargain at current valuations. And the stock split, remember, is not going to change the valuation. The stock split is not going to change what you're getting in return for what you're paying. The stock split is just going to take one slice and split it into 10. So you're still getting the same amount of pizza. You're not getting any more pizza or any less pizza. It's just going to be split into fewer slices. So you're not going to change what you're getting in return for your money. What you're going to change is you're going to be able to buy smaller slices. You don't have to buy the whole pizza anymore. You can buy just 1/10 of a pizza. Okay, so that's not going to change. And so for those reasons, it's a non-event for me. If you could buy it before and you want to own it, it's a good stock to own. If you couldn't and you can buy it after, it's a good stock to own. So I hope that clarifies, and I'll link to a video at the end of this one that's probably popping up on your screen right now, where I go into more detail explaining the dynamics of a stock split. Did you know that over 90% of the people that watch my channel are not subscribed? It'll really help support my channel if you hit that subscribe button. And oh, by the way, one of the benefits of being subscribed is that I take requests from subscribers more often than I do from non-subscribers. So if you prefer that benefit, please subscribe to the channel.